Hello, my name's Martin Young. Welcome to Who Goes There, the new biographical panel game, which looks at famous people through history and indeed the histories of famous people. Joining me this evening are Roy Hattersley, politician and writer, Gillian Reynolds, radio critic of the Daily Telegraph, and Fred Housego. But before we start our first round, I should just explain our arcane scoring system. We won't be awarding points for correct answers. No, that'd be far too simple. Instead, our panellists will try to reach the highest post in a given career. Well, I hope you've all been keeping in trim. You look immensely fit over there, because this week's career is that of a professional footballer. So get those bribes, bungs, financial inducements ready as we embark on our first round. We start with our archive round, in which we trawl the fathomless BBC sound library for the vintage voices which I want you to identify. First, Roy, who is in a grateful mood here, and have you any idea why?
First of all, the numeral that's on the back of this jersey accords exactly with my estimate of myself. And I'm glad that it has received official recognition. Secondly, I feel a certain affinity with your style of play, because I too like to make up the rules as I go along.
Roy, making up the rules as he goes along, does that remind you of anyone?
It reminds me of a man who, when I was at Harvard 25 years ago, people said that there's a very funny chap about who won't do very well. He spends all his time doing this winter programme for American politicians, and it may make him very popular with politicians, but he'll never really succeed in the real world. And he became Secretary of State, he won the Nobel Prize for Peace, and perhaps most important of all, he became president of the American Association Football organisation, which may be what he was talking about then. It is Dr. Henry Kissinger.
Well done. Very good answer. Now, you've mentioned what he might have been talking about. Can you just try again on that? It wasn't football. It was another sport.
Making up rules as you go along. Yes, the anarchist footballers of Barcelona during the Spanish Civil War ran up the black flag of anarchy and demanded the right to play the game by whatever rules they chose immediately before the kick-off.
But in fact, Kissinger had just been made an honorary Harlem Globetrotter. So nearly right, nearly right. Gillian, who's this reflecting on a happy childhood?
I was so lucky to have the childhood I had. If you remember all the books you read as a child that you've enjoyed, think of being able to live them instead of just reading them in a book, to be able to live the part of Heidi, and to be the little colonel, and to be Wee Willie Winkie, and be in the Khyber Pass. This is a beautiful childhood to have.
And she even believed in Father Christmas. But who was she, Gillian?
She was the adorable young person with the blonde curls that sat 2 continents by their ears in the 1930s and 40s, who involved Graham Greene in a bizarre libel suit when he accused her of precociously flirtatious attitudes. It's the good ship lollipop girl herself, Shirley Temple.
You're absolutely right, it was. That was the child star Shirley Temple, who later in life epitomised the worrying trend for cinematic has-beens to get involved with politics when she became US ambassador to Ghana. Now, talking of precociously sexy young people, Fred, a very familiar voice now. Can you put a name to it, Fred?
The French stories, you see, they don't translate. I mean, our humours, the French and English humours, don't really overlap at all, in my opinion anyway. Because their main joke in France is that this dog is an Englishman with an atrocious French accent. You know how the French love English people speaking their language, and that's their main joke. Well, of course, there's no way to put that into, and I wouldn't want to anyway.
Now, does that voice take you back, Fred, to your, very, very long ago childhood?
What? I never had a childhood.
And Zebedee said it was time for bed, Fred?
I never used to watch that.
Oh.
We was too busy watching Monitor and things like that. We sat around playing Scrabble with only X, Y and Z in the alphabet.
Well, to give me a very good clue there,